Ready? Hi, good morning. My name is Nathan Goodrich, Operations Section Chief for Northwest Team 3. I'm going to give you a morning update for the Labor Mountain Fire on the Cle Elum Ranger District. So this map here is not exactly representative of some of the fire behavior that we saw yesterday and the expansion of the fire perimeter. I'll just kind of roughly point to where some of that growth was. This was a earlier infrared flight that provided this perimeter. But yesterday here in Stafford Creek, the fire was crossed this drainage and did what we call a slope reversal. And so it was backing down this side, and then it had wind and terrain at its back, and so it did a slope reversal up this ridge here, up into the Miller Trailhead country, or Miller Trail country. And so there's about 1,000 more acres here today that it will be on the map for tomorrow. So there's pretty significant growth there on Labor Mountain yesterday. How we have this incident set up, we have 3 divisions on this incident. Division Charlie, Division Foxtrot, and then Division Juliet up to the north. The resources in Division Charlie are working along this 9737 road in Stand-Up Creek. This is Stand-Up Creek in this Tenaway Creek. And they're working on road prep and getting this road ready to go for the eventual utilizing that road feature for burnout operations if we get to that point. So the resources are working on that section. We're also working in Road 112 here up to this trail, doing the same thing as it backs down into Stand-Up Creek. And then down here along Stafford Creek, same deal on 9703 road. So those resources are utilizing both hand crews and mechanized equipment to prep this road. And by that I mean removing fuel from the edge of the road, limbing up trees. The mastication machines are doing the same thing, kind of spreading that fuel out. It makes it a little bit easier for us to be able to burn right up against the road, and provides a little bit more safety for the firefighters. And a good defensible space as we move further up the drainage there towards the Miller Bear Trailhead. So these actions are in place for the protections of values at risk. You can see some private land down here, some other private land, and then there's structures down to the south. There's also structures off to the east here towards Highway 97. So all these actions are being put in place for the future protection of those values at risk. Up in Division Juliet, there's quite a trail system out here in this country. As it moves a little bit further up towards the wilderness, there's folks that are out there recounting those trails to see if there's any possible way to use those for a containment feature. But the fire is progressing. When it does progress north, it is moving away from values at risk and into some of those roadless and wilderness areas. So there's a little less emphasis on this northern progression than there is on the southern or the eastern progression. So the folks that are working on this incident are based out of Cle Elum at the ranger station currently. We're setting up a forward operating base for those resources on that side in the Kittitas Valley. And so that's where those resources are working out of, while the Sugarloaf fire resources are working out of Plain and Leavenworth area. As we move forward on this incident, those actions will continue along the roaded system. When we get the resources in place and the time is right, we potentially could be doing some burning off of this trail, as well as those roads that I was talking about as prepping, in a strategic action to limit that fire spread. We are not going to be able to put line around the entirety of this incident going forward. Like I said, eventually going up towards the wilderness there. So those values at risk will be protected to the south with our containment features here. But given the location of this incident and just the steep, rugged terrain, there's not going to be a way for us to physically get line around this entire incident like we might be able to do on other incidents that have a little bit more accessible ground around their perimeter. We're looking at a a little bit of a weather change today that I think is going to affect these incidents. Going to have some thunderstorms, probably some increased winds, and so we'll see some increased fire growth on Labor Mountain again today. And then it looks like the weather's going to kind of be subdued over the next few days, so that'll probably reduce the fire spread on Labor Mountain specifically. So looking at another busy day on Labor Mountain with the resources working in those areas I was talking about, and again, expect to see some increased fire behavior and smoke production out of Labor Mountain. So that's your update for this morning. Thank you.